Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Jussi and my goal is to bring you as much relevant information as possible on the golf courses of the Costa del Sol. The first course I'm going to show you is my home course, one of my absolute favorites in this area, Mijas Golf Los Lagos. And before we head out to the course, let's go through a couple things. The 36-hole club is located a 10-minute drive away from Fuengirola Center and is super easy to arrive to. Right next to the parking lot you will find the Caddy Master and the Pro Shop, where you will find everything you need for the round, the locker rooms and showers, and the restaurant where you can enjoy a delicious lunch after the round. There's also a kiosk at the turn where you can buy snacks and drinks. The practice area is right next to both courses' first tees. You can hit balls at the range of one of the 14 mats, use a chipping green with the bunker next to it, or calibrate your putting on the large and flat putting green. Los Lagos is a true championship course at an awe-inspiring 6,536 meters from the tips. It is a tough enough challenge for the better players while still being extremely enjoyable for the higher handicappers. The course has no surprises whatsoever and is super easy to navigate through even the first time around. But without further ado, let's get to it. The first hole is a dogleg left par 5 which the long hitters can reach into. The ideal line of the tees towards the field goal you can see, although the problems are on the left too, so don't get too greedy. There's a lot of room to miss on the right. It's 270 meters to the spot from the tips, so you can really hit it far on the preferred line and not go too long. You can also see that if your drive starts left but stays on the course, you will probably have a nice lie anyways. The aim here is the right edge of the greenside bunker. This spot is 140 meters away from the last scenery shot and 150 meters away from the front edge of the green. The hazard that crosses the fairway and continues all the way to the left side of the green starts here. The green itself is a bit elevated and slopes all the way from back to front. It's guarded by two bunkers that gather the balls hit over the green on both left and right sides. The safe side to miss is on the right, which leaves you with a nice chip shot, and everything missed short left will trickle down to the hazard. Even with the failed chip, I managed to save a nice par, which completes this overall very pleasant opening hole. The second hole is a simple par 3 with bunkers all around the green. The tees are a bit higher than the green and the shot is usually hit against the wind, so be careful with the club choice. The only advice I have for this hole is to aim at the center of the green to give yourself a nice look at the birdie. The green itself is pretty level and has no big breaks. The third hole is a par 4 straight as an arrow. Out of bounds to the left, first hole on the right. The fairway is guarded by bunkers on both sides from 100 meters in. If I feel confident, my goal is to get the ball in between the bunkers, but if I don't, I try to leave the tee shot a bit short of them. Today I did. This is about 250 meters from the tips and I had 100 meters to the back pin. The green is guarded by bunkers on the left and front sides, and a huge water hazard is waiting for balls that are hit long. Be really conscious about the pin position. The green is again pretty flat. Here we had a nice look at the birdie, but close, but no cigar. The fourth hole is a dogleg right par 4. You have to carry the ball about 240 meters to get to the bunker on the right. There's a lot of fairway on the left side of the bunker, so if you're not a bomber, the safe route is on the left. 260 meters from the tips and we are at the runout area of left fairway. The green is 130 meters away. If you can hit it over the bunker, you will have just a nice wedge in. The wedge was left a bit short of the putting surface, which is again flat and is guarded by bunkers in the front and back, and by again a water hazard in the back and right of the green. As you can see here, everything hit short, right or long will get wet or sandy. The safe miss is to the left. The longest hole of the course, a 580 meter par 5 from the tips. Houses guard the left side all the way and on the right is the sixth hole. Be aware of the trees on the right at 260 meters from the tips, they will block your layup shot. This spot is exactly 260 meters from the tips and leaves you with an ideal layup shot of 190 meters. You can see the thick trees on the right, they are not 90% there. And as we all know, who would walk their own talk? A prime example of smart golf. At least I nailed the next hero shot. This spot between the trees is 180 meters away from the last scenery shot, and from here you can still go 20 meters longer without risking the ball going into the water. A good layup will leave you anything between 100 and 150 meters in. There are bunkers on the left and behind the green, and in front there is again a really hungry water hazard, so be sure to hit enough club in your approach. The whole green is breaking slightly towards the water. The sixth hole is the toughest of the course, a 423 meter par 4. The shortest hitters need to go either left or right to stay dry. The trees on the right are the same from the previous hole and will block the approach. You can hit almost 300 meters towards the trees on the left. This spot is about 240 meters from the tips, and the front edge of the green is 180 meters away. 2 bunkers on the left, 5th hole on the right. Be aware of the backwater when approaching, especially with the back pin. It is just as deadly as the hazards before. The first greenside bunkers are an awkward distance away, so be really careful if you have to lay up. There are 2 more bunkers close to the green, and the water hazard is in the back left of the green. This green too is big and flat. The 7th hole is a slightly left-turning par 4 that has the most intimidating tee shot so far, as the water on the left requires a 240 meter carry. There's a bunker on the right, so you should aim in between those. This spot is about 210 meters from the tips, and the front edge of the green is 160 meters away. Here you can also see how the rough slopes towards the hazard. The approach cannot be missed left because, well, I guess you already know what's there. Well, it's a water hazard. There's also a bunker on the front right. The green slopes from back to front. I forgot to film the hazard behind the camera because of this beauty of a birdie putt. This birdie brought the score to even par. The next hole is a monster par 3, a whopping 220 meters from the back tees. The safe line is to the right because there's water guarding left side and behind the green. The right side has 3 bunkers which give you a decent look for par. As you can see, everything left and long will end up in the hazard, and almost everything to the right will end up in the bunkers. You really must excel on this hole to have your tee shot on this long and narrow green. As the bunkers do give you a fair opportunity for a par, do not be afraid of them. The green itself is again pretty flat and, as I said, long and narrow. And for once the strategy actually worked in the player's favor. The front nice finishing hole is a dogleg left par 4. I recommend aiming between the 2 hotel towers in the background. The back bunker is 250 meters away from the back tees. You need a 260 meter carry to clear the bunkers on the left. This spot and the front edge of the first bunker on the left are about 220 meters away from the tips, and there's still 110 meters left to reach the green. Please note that the approach is hit slightly uphill. The green slopes quite strongly from back to front, so the ideal approach is left a bit short of the pin. The green is guarded by 2 bunkers. I've been told many times not to leave putts short. Anyways, I'm glad to finish the front 9 at even par. The back 9 starts with a long downhill par 4. The landing area has bunkers on both sides of the fairway, and you need a 280 meter carry to clear the right bunker. I got lucky with the lie this time, but normally the right side is not the answer. This spot is about 270 meters from the tee, and there's 130 meters left to the front edge of the green. You can see here how much the fairway opens up after the right side bunker. The front and left side of the green is guarded by bunkers, and for everybody's surprise, water is waiting for balls that are hit right or over the green. The green itself is huge and flat and has no notable breaks. except for this one apparently. Pin position makes all the difference on this par 3. Be really careful with the club choice and hit enough club because everything short right will end up in the water. Left side is guarded by 2 bunkers. This green has a pretty steep break from back to front. Be careful with the front pin, you wouldn't be the first one to chip or putt the ball into the hazard. Most of the putts on this green are downhill putts, so distance is key. The 12th hole is an uphill par 4 which has 2 bunkers in the middle of the fairway. The first one ends at 240 meters and the second one starts at 270 meters from the white tees. This spot is about 250 meters from the tips and there's still 90 meters left to the front edge of the green, which is quite a bit above the spot, so be sure to hit enough club. If you choose to risk hitting the ball into one of the bunkers, please choose the first one, since the second bunker will leave you a tricky wedge shot into the green. The green is guarded by 3 bunkers and is the first 2-tiered green on Los Lagos. The slope is almost right in the middle of the green, which slopes severely from back to front, so this putt was hit really hard. The ball sailed 6 feet past and I needed this important save to keep the score at 1 over par. It's bombs away again at this long downhill par 5. Even though this is a favorite for the longest shot of the day, the layup is a lot easier with the ball on the fairway, so that is definitely my goal here. This spot between the bunkers is about 240 meters away from the tips. There's still about 80 meters of downhill left and the flat part starts from about the 200 meter pole and it lasts until the end of the hole. Pro tip, don't hit the ball into the fairway bunker, stay on the fairway. This spot is about 180 meters from the last scenery shot and the ideal layup spot is from here to the bogey marks. The front edge of the green is about 100 meters away. Front pin on the 13th must be one of the toughest pins on Lagos because everything missed short, left or right will trickle down to the hazard. There's 2 bunkers behind the green which slopes from back to front and I'd recommend to go for the center of the green no matter where the pin is, although that is the exact opposite of what I did here. The failed approach left me a nice 12-footer for birdie. And what would be better than to take advantage of a lucky break? This putt brings the score to even par. The 14th hole is a dogleg left par 4. The ideal line of the tee is between the round trees in the background. The tee shot is hit uphill and the approach then downhill. The problems on this hole are on the left side of the fairway and it slightly slopes that way too. This spot is about 240 meters from the tips and the front edge of the green is about 110 meters away. The approach is hit slightly downhill. There's 3 bunkers guarding the green and the only real trouble is if you hit the ball long. The green has 2 tiers and slopes from front right to back left. I pulled this putt and I was sure it would not break so much, but what do you know? 1 under par. After a tricky start to the back 9, we arrived at the true recovery hole, a short par 5. This is the best birdie opportunity on this course. The only real obstacle of the tee is a tree on the left, after which the hole opens up really wide. Here you can see how much room there is on the left. This spot is about 240 meters away, both from the tips and from the center of the green. This shot must have been the dumbest of the day. Do not try this at home. Somehow it made its way through the trees and I actually had a great look for the pin. The large green that slopes from back to front is guarded by 4 bunkers on all sides. I thought I had this putt, but it just didn't turn enough. This par 3 has a really long green and the actual yardage is strongly affected by pin position. There's water hazard on the left side of the green and a bunker on the right. Here you can see the length of the green. Both hazards protect the green from the start to roughly the middle. The green has 2 tiers and the ridge is roughly in the middle too. I left myself with a really simple and easy chip here. It actually turned out pretty good. This one would have been a lovely par save, but you cannot sink them all. The 17th hole is a straight uphill par 4 which slopes from left to right. The green opens up beautifully from the left side, so I definitely recommend to hit the ball to the left part of the fairway. There are 2 bunkers on the right hand side. This spot is about 250 meters from the tips and 100 meters away from the front edge of the green. Here you can see the slope and also how much room there is on the left hand side. This spot is also level with the green. I hit the horrible tee shot and had to hit the soft wedge out of the bunker again. I recommend you take into account the huge bunker in front of the green. There is another bunker guarding the left hand side. You should definitely avoid missing the green to the right because a strong slope will take your ball far away. I forgot to film the 2 putts which gave me a par, and that is the result we bring to the last hole. The finishing hole is a straight par 4 which slopes strongly from right to left. The left side is a waste area and there are 2 bunkers on the right, and behind the bunkers you have out of bounds, so the tee shot is pretty tight and requires your full concentration. This spot is 230 meters away from the tips, and that is the carry needed to clear the bunkers. The green is 100 meters away. The green is strongly elevated from the left side of the fairway, which needs to be taken into account with the club choice. I almost never hit enough club here, so please do not repeat my mistakes. There is a huge bunker just in front of the green and 2 more bunkers to the left. The green has the strongest slope of them all, and it is from back to front. That's why in this approach distance is key. If your ball is below the pin, please hit it hard enough and don't leave your putt short like me. Anyways, shooting even par from the tips is always a great thing, and I'm happy it happened when I was filming. So that was it for the first video. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any feedback, any recommendations, whatever, please drop a comment below and I will see you in the next video.